Good evening. You are welcome back on African Time Show. So we are here in studio to discuss about fuel subsidy removal in Nigeria. We want to watch the Minister of Petroleum speech that said the government should give them, the citizens of Nigeria should give them chance. They are ready to work. Let's see.
Thank you. In the interest of time, I will stand on the existing protocol that the CMA has already established and just say, welcome, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I was actually about to give you an in-depth rundown of the very robust subsidy investment and empowerment program. In other words, the benefits that government has worked very hard to hash out in terms of the deregulation. However, let me hold that a little bit and respond to some of the things that Olisa has just brought up, which are very real and I think deserve a response, a first-line response. Is there a subsidy, at least in the oil and gas sector? Yes, there is. In 2003, the government took away the discount that NNPC was getting when it went to buy crude on the open market, and instead ensure that NNPC bought at global crude prices. At the same time, it asks that NNPC give a discount for the products that the refineries refined and put on the market. So the arithmetic is clear. You buy at global prices, you sell at a discount. That was the beginning of subsidies. And we have continued with that trend ever since. Today, if we take a product that we all know, household kerosene, it lands at approximately 140 naira. That's what it is bought on the international market at, and it lands in this country at that amount. We sell it ex-depot price to the middle line marketers at 40 naira per litre. Our recommended price to sell it to the public is 50 naira per litre, but as you all know, all those who have bought kerosene, it is generally available at 85 naira and above, depending on where you are in the country. And the same thing as the CME just told you with PMS. We have worked very hard over the last 16 or 17 months to ensure that for the first time in a long time, the country has been consistently wet with fuel everywhere in the country. So there is fuel everywhere now, which wasn't happening before. But we cannot control the prices simply because the 65 naira that is quoted is generally available in urban centers such as Lagos here, Abuja, Port Harcourt, and so on and so forth. If you go into the hinterland in Bayelsa, you will not get PMS or petrol at 65 naira, and that is because of the bridging costs, the costs of the logistics of taking it into those places. And why are we doing bridging and trucking, taking our products by road and by water? Because our pipelines have been vandalized consistently over the years, both our crude pipelines and our product pipelines as well. And these are some of the benefits when you deregulate, that some of the funds, not to mention the private sector equity investment that comes into these sectors, ensures that they are more adequately, efficiently, and expediently controlled. And therefore, we would see in a few years' time that we were, in fact, expediently moving our goods, our products, our refined products to other parts of the countries in the manner that they should be, which is through the pipelines. So yes, there is a subsidy. And yes, the subsidy is very real. What are the challenges? Because he did say that they should talk about the challenges. And I'm telling you some of them already that we have. Now look at our refineries, which has been a very topical issue, and that we have always been asked about at all these fora.
We can see from the speech of Minister of Petroleum, Mr. JJ. So, what do you? Yeah, Mr. OK. What do you understand about what the Minister of Petroleum said?
Actually, in theory, what the minister is saying is not bad. They are trying to curtail the SSEs in the flow of petroleum product. With the example on the common one that the average person in the village uses, that is the DPK, the kerosene. she's expressing her fears on some of the programs that she wanted to put across. The vandalization of so many things that she has said, the vandalization of the pipelines. But all those things, have they now drawn a particular machineries to take care of those things before this removal of this subsidy? Because at the end of the day, just like she said, the prices does not obtain, as she said, in all these other areas. What machineries have they put in place to check those situations that has been existing now after the subsidy has been removed? Will those situations not still exist? It is not only about turning to information minister. That is not the issue. The issue is this thing. What are the securities that will be in place to check some of these things that might arise after this subsidy has been removed? What is the government really going to do? Because she has said that they have been unable to do every other policy that they have put across. From what I think everybody had it, that she has been unable to do this. They have been unable to stop this. They have not been unable to provide a solution. Now, with this point, they are going to remove the subsidy. Now, when the subsidy is removed, they will now use the money to subsidize the refineries, to subsidize those who is going to invest in the refinery, just like the CBN governor said before, which she is trying to express also, that instead of subsidizing, they will not use the money, because he said the cost of the refinery will run up to 3.3 billion. 3.something billion. Who is ready to put in money? That is, who is ready to put in, because there is this fear. But the NNPC has been there. There has been officials who's been running this establishment. There has been people in place. He said they remove some of the people and put in new people. Those people that they now put in, what is the credibility that these new people have already? These new people, are they not acting in line with the old one? Since they have removed and put in new people, why don't the NNPC itself start generating some funds? Start running.
Yeah. If not for the fact that the minister of petroleum, she's new in that office, I would have said that she should bow her head in shame. That at this 21st century, Nigeria is still importing kerosene. And not even kerosene, talking of trying to distinguish the what they call it, HHK and all those DPK or whatever she calls it. Nigeria of a nation, if not the 8th oil producing country in the world, with billions of naira rolling into the purse, the coffers of the government, we are still what? Importing kerosene. Kerosene of all the products. That's by the way. Like I said before, the essence of this subsidy is to tell the whole world that Nigeria is bankrupt. 1. 2. Secondly, maybe they have gone to IMF, and IMF has checked their financial credibility and find out that no, if we pump in this money, how are we going to recover the money? So the only alternative is to just the only alternative is just use subsidy so that you can get the money. Money to do what? The money they are ploughing back, telling us, showing us picture how they are going to provide health for pregnant women, how they're going to do this. I was just watching the thing. I just switched off my television. Enough of all these rhetorics. The money they want to get from this subsidy, part of the money will be used to refurbish the old refineries, because they are what? They've broken down. No government will come and go. What they are interested is the money that comes out of the petrol, but to put the refinery in order so that Nigeria can produce this thing on their own. Nobody is interested about that. The money they are looking for the subsidy is to make sure maybe to put the refinery inform again. Now, tomorrow the government will take the credibility. When we are there, the refinery was down. Now, during our regime, the refinery is working. These are, I mean, cock and bull stories. Nigeria has a long way to go. We need what? Reorientation. In short, Nigeria need a radical. A radical who can take decision, and this decision will stand, and they work on it. The present president, not that it's not good, but I mean, there are so many sycophants around him, and when you're working with sycophants around you, even if you want to get it, they'll pull you down. Either you join them or they push you out. He has a good vision, actually, but he has so many sycophants around him, and until these sycophants are being removed and replaced with people that have the heart, the interest of Nigeria at heart, nothing will work out. That's what I'm saying. So even if you call every minister or every member of the so-called ruling party, all of them will say the same story. They will say the same story. But thank God Nigeria has every Nigeria has woken up now to know what is on the ground. It's either you dance to their tune or they vote you out. That is how people are. That is.
But he made mention in a comment that we should give. They are ready to work. That we should give this government trust.
They are ready. Yes. They are ready to work. Yes. My own opinion is that they should suspend the subsidy and do something. So that people can see it, and so that the heart of the people will draw back their sword and keep it back when they do something spectacular, so that in terms of providing the basic amenities like electricity for one, good road. Have you ever traveled from Lagos and you're going to the east? Have you ever tried it on the road before? And you spend about 8 hours, a journey that if you are driving from here to Milan, how many hours will it take you? 1 hour or 45 minutes you are in Milan. But if you are traveling from from Benin, Lagos, before you get to Benin, by the time you get to Ore, you see you continue to see either dead bodies by the side because of accident. The roads are not movable. The big question is: hasn't Nigeria got the resources to put all these things in order? They are shouting, "We Nigerians diaspora, we should come home, we should come home, we should come home." How can you, after seeing all these things, that is you're here? One, your life is secured here, the amenities are there, and now you want to move from heaven inside hell. No, it is not possible. It's not possible.
Mr. Bolaji, what is your contribution to Minister's speech?
Well, in my own response, I won't say reaction to the Minister of Petroleum speech. In my own opinion, in economic terms, the removal of the oil subsidy is not even actually the problem. If the good intentions are well harnessed, implemented politically, because we are with the governor of Central Bank, the Minister of Petroleum, they are all talking nothing except from the economic aspect of fuel subsidy. Putting fuel subsidy and removing fuel subsidy. They are not talking about the political impact that translates to the social well-being of the masses that they are governing. They don't lay emphasis on that, but then solely on the economic aspects, simply because it is easy for government that is not thinking wisely, considering the welfare of the citizenry, to have good ideology. The government talked about ideology. Where is the political ideology and that needs political will with which to achieve better thing, better living for the masses? When we are talking of ideology in only where you can quickly get money, and not ideology on how you can practically get money in a way that the people of your country, the citizens, will support you. No matter how they remove the subsidy, they bring in the investor. Tell me, as a businessman, you are going to invest your money, no matter if they remove the first subsidy to suffer the masses now, to now subsidize in quotes, according to the minister, for the will-be investors. when you are not sure of going to his village to go and do business, when you are not sure of coming to his own village to go and do business, what are we deceiving ourselves? Instead of causing crisis, strike that will kill so many Nigerians. The removal of subsidy is not even the problem, but then not removing the subsidized in code protection given to these unscrupulous elements that the minister talked about. For how long should we keep on talking about this? During the time of Obasanjo, same thing.
But in our speech, he did not say this, the subsidy removal, the benefit is going to only the investors. No. He said part of the benefit is to subsidize the investors that are coming for the refineries, and the others is to all the amenities that we need, road, schools, hospitals, no. I understand you.
Now, we know so many people that have died because of this strike.
Yeah.
So they will now come tomorrow and enter the bus, part of their palliative measures. They will now benefit. What we are saying is that let them do what the Nigerians will be talking about. Let them have the blueprint. These are the bad elements that we have. These are the saboteurs. We have found them. We have investigated them. This is the punishment. Let us know. Then we will see the seriousness. Whatever policy you bring forth, we can now reason. But you cannot tell us to reason with you when we are already angry.
Of course. And
that cannot be possible. It is not obtainable.
How can you even be talking of investment and investment when you know that there are the so-called unscrupulous elements are there? You have not done anything about them. I mean, now that you have identified the problem.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
What machineries have you put in place to make sure that this your new
pipeline anymore?
Then that this
people, they are happy with them over there in the south side.
then the people who now bastardize
they will continue until all the so-called cabals are brought to books.
At the end
How could you be?
At the end of you're giving this impression that Nigerians are not governable.
We are not fools.
Nigeria are not governable. Nigeria, from what I know, we are people that are governable.
Yes.
Can all this be happening during the Idi Amin regimes?
Yes.
I listened
in the twinkling of an eye, everybody queued to do whatever that he wanted to do. People were afraid to drop debt, even
I listened to Professor Tam David interviewed. From there, he said there is nothing like cabal.
It's only that
cabal simply mean untouchables, and the government are the one that they are representing.
Yes.
So we should call a spade a spade.
God bless you. Our problem
is the government.
Wale Tinubu is representing Bola Tinubu, and Bola Tinubu is representing somebody like Atiku and others. So what are they telling us? We are not fools. By the way, it's even irritating to be hearing that we are importing kerosene. We have our refineries there. They should build more instead of us repairing.
The way it's going.
No, let me tell you something.
Bring the
Mr. Kenny, we don't know. We in Nigeria in diaspora, we don't know the effect on us now. I don't know how much of error I'm going to send in to settle my people at home. I don't know now. And we need to be very, very careful.
Yeah.
I want us to ask ourselves, do you think 100 euro can settle what is on ground now? It can't. How much do you think you have your bills here on ground here to settle? And how many of our loved ones at home do you think we send 200 euro to? That it won't affect our own bills here. And at the same time, the so-called government, our problem is indiscipline. If they can control themselves, right from the presidency down to the other organs, organs of government, I think who are the cabals, them tatars, the people knew these people. That's why I still want, if we can beg the spirit of Babatunde Diago, somebody like that. Buhari, I listened to Professor Tam David's I shed tears because I don't know where we are going. There is nothing like subsidy. They are just bamboozling Nigeria.
Excuse me,
they please. They are fooling us.
Let me just come in here because of what he just said. Yeah. Our major problem, subsidy or no subsidy, that kingdom come will still be there if we don't have leader. Our major problem is that leadership. It's because the topic is not on leadership. That's why I didn't want to. But then it's what he raised now. few days ago I wrote on Facebook. 2 days later, I got interview of Tam David West that actually buttressed what I wrote.
Yeah.
Why I said our problem is just this leadership is we've not gotten that leadership in Nigeria. That's why we are still having this problem.
Yeah.
And how do we get this leadership? The leader, a good leader, is not how long you stay on power. It's not the affluence, but then that political will to understand that what it takes to be a good leader is to sacrifice.
Yes.
And that is what is lacking. If the president Jonathan could turn himself today to be a leader, I'm sure from America will even be taking visa to come to Nigeria to come and work there because the resources is there. Yeah. It's just because of that sacrifice that we need. If we have a leader that can do the sacrifice, we are actually going to enjoy. The issue of the cabals and what have you, it just takes the political will to be bold enough to address the situation and face them, damning whatever the consequence, and what will be the consequence coming to the election. Probably the second time you will not be there again. But then, if you have 4 years to use as a term in a term. You've not even spent 2 years. Our own politicians in Nigeria, our leaders will be talking of the following term, the next term, without talking of their social responsibility to the people.
Yeah. And
there are certain issues that ought to have been taken care of, but because of the fear of not being able to have that ticket in quotes from their political party, and they will overlook, they will jettison what is important at that material time. Look at the recent issue of the Boko Haram. All this would have been curtailed before now, but because few months ago they were suppressed and attention was shifted on election, and see what we are having now. And because of what? Because of lack of sacrifice, that they could not hammer what's supposed to be handled.
Yes, I strongly believe what he said, because until this issue of the so-called cabal, whether it's cabal or untouchable or whatever you call them, until this issue is nailed to the ground, nothing will work out. Even if you remove the subsidy and those people are still there, they will still manipulate the country. That's my view.
Even if you bring the price down, there will still be problem if you don't face the
Thank you. So thank you, the viewers. I think you can hear our opinion from the diaspora in Italy about the first subsidy. We have been contributing our interest on Nigerian government things. We want Nigerian government to help us. We have to help our people in Nigeria because it's not easy. So with this first subsidy debate, we'll still continue after some break. Thank you.